welcome to the next episode of Cooking with Bill and Ruby. Today we're going to talk about 2 different methods of making your own homemade hot sauce. So the first thing I have here are a collection of peppers, which I got some at the grocery store, like these habaneros. I grew some on my own bushes. I have a little jalapeno here and a couple of other ones that I grew. And I actually have a couple little habaneros there too that I grew. But all the rest of these came from a local farmer's market. We're going to do a fermentation version of hot sauce and then a stovetop version of the hot sauce. On the table here, I have some of the things that you'll need. I've got some salt. I have some spices that I've picked out to add. Some garlic. I like lime juice. You'll need some white vinegar. Some bottles for those to go into. And then I have some carrots to mix in for a little bit of sweetness. One thing you're definitely going to want is some gloves to wear on your fingers because you're going to be touching these peppers with a lot of oil and seeds in them. And it's not something that you want on your fingers because you don't want to rub your eyes or get it anywhere on you. Okay, you want to cut up your peppers, whether you're doing fermentation version or the stovetop version. You want to slice them in half and remove, most of the seeds. So you can kind of see on this cutting board, what I've done is I've cut all the peppers in half, and I've also cut them a little bit shorter in length because I'm going to need to fit them inside a jar if I'm doing the fermented version. Okay, all of those peppers that you just saw, I cut and stuffed into this jar so that it's really, really full of peppers. So you can see how all the space in there for the most part is peppers. And what I have here is a water and salt solution of about 3% salt. What I want to do is I want to fill this jar with this water all the way to the top so that it's got like a little bubble of water on the top. And then we're going to put this lid on and seal it so that there's basically no air in there, or very little air. And then we're going to leave it set for a couple of weeks until it turns milky white. So there's some fermentation that's started. So we'll come back on this particular pepper recipe in a couple of weeks and take a look and see what's happened. Okay, one thing I want to mention about the jar here, it's really full of water, and when the fermentation starts, it's going to produce some CO2, some gas. So every couple of days, you're going to want to loosen this lid and burp the jar. At first there won't be much over the next couple of days, but as you get into the fermentation, about 5 days, you'll hear like a little tss or a little release of gas, and that's good. So if you want the fermentation to go about 5 days, you'll get a little bit of flavor. 5 to 10 days, you'll get more flavor. 10 days or more, you'll get more and more fermentation flavor. But once the burping gas stops and you're loosening that lid and you're not getting any more gas coming out, you can probably make your sauce. And one more thing, you want to put this in not direct sunlight, but it doesn't have to be in a dark place. Just find a place to put it where it can sit on the counter, but not with direct sun on it. And again, it doesn't have to be in a dark place. Okay, we'll seal it up. Put the water in. You see how the water is filling up, and we want to go all the way. And I've got it on a little dish because I really want that water to overflow just a little bit to know that it's full. And then I'm going to seal this jar. And that's it. Just let it sit at room temperature somewhere in your kitchen for a couple of weeks. See how the water's all clear right now? Within a couple of weeks, it'll turn all milky white. So this jar's been going for about a week now, and you can see how the peppers are floating up a little bit now and how milky this is. Every couple days, though, I've been loosening the jar to burp the jar because there's, as it ferments, there's some gas that's building up in here. So you want to make sure every couple days that you just loosen things up and let it kind of breathe a little bit. Just pop it a little bit and then go back in. So I usually do it on top of the towel because sometimes it leaks when it burps. That's it. Okay, so this has been sitting for about 10 days, and so you can see it's all milky color. And you can see the peppers kind of been fermenting in there. So I have set up in the sink here a bowl and a strainer. So we're going to pour this in here. We'll take the peppers from here, put them over here in the blender, and I'll talk about some other things we're going to add. And then we're going to keep about a cup of this liquid from the fermentation process as well. So kind of see what the peppers look like there. We'll pour this in here. And kind of see there's a little bit of white stuff in there. We're just going to rinse off the peppers here a little bit. I'm getting a good pepper off there, you know, it's really good. Remember there was some jalapeno in there and some habanero too. So we're gonna put this in, these peppers into the blender here. And I'm going to add a few carrots. Also toasted some garlic here. You can use any oil that you want in there, but I had some of this chili oil that I roasted this garlic in. So I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to add about a teaspoon of vinegar. You can add more if you want. We're also going to kick the heat up a little bit. This is some cayenne, and then I have some New Mexico green chili powder as well. And we'll probably just do about half a teaspoon of the cayenne in there. And because remember we have that habanero and jalapeno amongst the other peppers, and then we'll do a little bit of this Mexican New Mexico red chili powder as well, about half a teaspoon of that. And you don't have to add the spices. You can, do pretty much what you want. Then we're going to keep a cup of this fermentation liquid. We're going to need this for later. And that cup of that. I also have some garlic oil. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of this in there. Just to give it a little more liquid. And now we're going to blend this on low for a good 10 minutes and make sure that everything is well mixed. And so we'll come back in 10 minutes after this is blended and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so we have blended this for 10 minutes and you can sort of see the consistency here, kind of like maybe oatmeal. So we're going to want to thin that up a little bit. Back on the blender, we're going to use some of this leftover juice here. So I added about half a cup of that, and now you can see it's much thinner, maybe like a really thin milkshake or something. I'm going to go over here now. I've got a colander that's got smaller holes in it than the other one. So I'm going to pour this through here and kind of scrape out what's in our blender there. And then I'm just going to kind of move this around and kind of press through those holes a little bit until we just have a little bit of that pepper skin left there. You can use cheesecloth for this. You can use a strainer with smaller holes in it, whatever works. So now we've got kind of just this pasty stuff left here. I'll set that over there. And we've got this sauce now. We're going to pour this into this measuring cup here. And then I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of lime juice to this sauce here, because I just like lime juice. this is our sauce now. So I've got a bottle here, a little funnel, and I'm leaving a little bit of an air hole here so that it will pour through. And then we'll just pour this into the bottle. There's your hot sauce. And I probably won't put a little snapper on top because this is a little bit bigger. If you want to water it down or add more liquid, you can do that. And that way we can just pour this out. So let's see how this tastes. I'll put a little bit on my finger. Very good. Got a roasted garlic flavor to it, and bit of a kick, but it's not super hot. Okay, now the second method of making hot sauce will be the stovetop method. So we have some water in this bowl that's boiling. We're going to add these peppers to the water and turn it down to kind of a slow boil. And we're going to let that sit for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes boiling. And the idea is to kill all the germs that are on the peppers. And then we'll do the next step. So I've washed these really well a couple times, sliced them up, removed the seeds. I've got my boiling water, maybe a little bit of salt in there, and then I'm going to put the peppers in there, cut it down to a slow boil, and let it go for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, we're done boiling the peppers, so we'll pull those off. You'll notice we've got the fan going at high. A lot of the steam and smoke coming off of these has a lot of that peppery oils and stuff in it, so you want to be real careful. Turn this off now. If you want to take a quick look, they're well boiled for 15 minutes here. And what I have set up over here is I have a really good colander with some smaller holes in it, but not too small, and a bowl to catch the juice because we want to have that for the hot sauce. And then I have this really large container that I'm going to put that into because I want to pour it into the blender, add a few things, and kind of mix it all together. Okay, so I have our boiled peppers in here. This is just a nice big container, makes it easy to pour into the blender. You'll notice in my blender I added some raw carrots. Carrot is a nice base to throw in with your hot sauce. Sweetens things up a little bit, and that's always kind of nice. You could do pineapple juice if you wanted, a little bit of apple juice, whatever you're up for to add just a little bit of sugar in there. You can throw some fresh pineapple in there as well. So we're gonna put these peppers in here, and then we'll add a few ingredients to them before we blend them all together. All right. So we have those carrots in our blender. We're going to add a little bit of vinegar because it's good to have some acid in there. You'll notice a lot of hot sauces that are available have vinegar as one of the ingredients. I usually add about a cup for the blender. I'll put that in there. And now you can add anything else you want. I've got garlic, I've got some spices here, I've got chili, some chili lime, I've got some green chilies, and I have some lime juice. It's totally up to you. I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice to mine. And a couple of tablespoons of garlic. Because I like garlic. Okay, I emptied a little bit of liquid off the top of the blender because it got a little full there. So we're all ready to start blending. We've got our carrots, we've got our peppers, we have the water and the vinegar in here. So we will blend this up, and then what we'll do is pour it through the strainer, and then we'll put it into the hot sauce bottles. Okay, we've blended everything together here with our hot sauce. So we're gonna now take this and we're gonna go over here to where I have my strainer with the small holes. And we're gonna pour it through here, and this will catch the big chunks that we want to keep out of our sauce and catch the actual sauce that we're gonna use. So we'll pour that in there, and then we've got a little spatula here. We just kind of move it around. If you're interested in keeping this pulp, you can do so, and you could add it to chili when you're making your chili recipes. I'm just moving it around to get all of the juice into that bottom bucket there. Okay, I have a collection of bottles here that I just collected. You can order these if you want on the web with the lids that are there. We're just going to put the date on the bottle when we pour the hot sauce in. We won't fill it totally full, but we'll get it pretty close to the top because it's hot. We'll put the lid on, and then we'll put them in the fridge. So I've got a little funnel here that fits right on the top, and I poured all of the juice from the pulp and everything back into this container. So now we'll just fill up a couple bottles here. Remember to pull the funnel up a little bit to let the air escape as you're putting your hot sauce into your bottle there. So this one. Put the lid on. You can kind of see there's our, looks a little bit like Tabasco, a little more orange. Remember we added our carrot. We could do pineapple, apple, anything to give it a little bit of sugar in there. Oops, a little over on that one. Will work just fine. All right, so we'll give this a little try. This goes great with eggs. You could put it on a little bit of chili. You can certainly, it's a little bit warm now, but you can certainly put a little on your finger and give it a taste. Nice, garlicky. It has a little kick. There were a couple of habaneros in there, so